me to watch when I come out to see you in a few weeks? Because I'm really concerned about this.
Many things.
Oh, God.
Did I disappoint with White Chick last time?
No, you didn't. But the fact that you're saying it's a conditional thing makes me mildly concerned about what you're going to make me watch. But we'll see.
Yeah, you'll have to wait and see.
In a few weeks, Owen and I will be doing an episode in person together as I'm going out to see him again. I'm escaping the miserable weather here. Don't be fooled by the sun. It's only 15 degrees.
It's already been like 20 plus degrees here this week.
So I'll be with him for a week. So we may record maybe a couple of episodes. I don't know yet, but we'll definitely record at least one because that'll be funny. So we are going to talk. So change of pace today. No NFL for the first time since we've started doing this. So we are going to go straight onto the football that you guys actually watch my videos for. Seen the view counts for and I've been doing a couple like little mini bonus ones. Like
I've seen the Ronaldo stuff. I've seen.
Yeah, the stuff I do for my TikTok basically. And those videos, 100 views relatively easily, and these scoundrels barely watch anything else. So,
is it because you've just had all your man from football Twitter who have subscribed to your YouTube?
No, so they subscribed because they liked me talking about football. And I tried to impose American football on them, and they didn't like it. And I tried to impose basketball, they like a little bit more.
There you go, that's why.
You're all ungrateful scoundrels, right? I'm trying to teach you new things, and then you just don't want to watch it. So, right, we're going to start.
What you need to do is just next time you do an NBA or NFL video, advertise it as like some Neymar video or something. Hoodwink them.
Bamboozled. So, no, listen. So, what we're going to start with is the title race. So, we're recording this at. We're 2 hours away from the kickoff of Spurs Arsenal. By the time this goes out, that game will be finished probably. I don't think I'm going to put this out before 7 o'clock tonight. So, I mean, maybe I will. I don't know yet. But either way, this is being recorded beforehand. So, City won yesterday. So, for the moment, they've played the same amount of games, and City are just 2 points behind. And there is a game to come.
That's what we like to see.
Huh?
That's what we like to see.
Yes, there is a game. There is a game coming between the two of them. I don't know exactly when. There's two because there's the cup final as well. So we'll have to see what direction this goes. But Owen, I think the question that I'm basically asking is: do you think Arsenal are going to bottle it, or do you think they can hold on?
Of course they're going to bottle it. Of course they are. It was 14 points last time.
Wait! It was 14.
Yes. Arsenal coming into the new year, I'm pretty sure coming into the new year, they had a 14-point gap, or it was just before Christmas. 14 points. Last time we made a video about this after the United game where you went on a rant about Arteta and how fraudulent he is. It was 6 points, and now it's 2. We're seeing the trajectory, and I've said they were going to bottle it then. They won a couple of games against Leeds and another team, and everyone thought, oh, okay, they're okay there. Who?
I think it was Sunderland.
Yeah, that's it. Leeds and Sunderland. And everyone thought, okay, that's fine. They've sorted it out. They've righted the ship. No. They draw to Wolves and they draw to Brentford. And I triple captain Gabriel in my fantasy team, which I'm fuming about, but we're not going to go into that.
Captain the defender?
If you have been playing fantasy lately, you know how it goes. That's the safest bet these days.
Well, I've not played fantasy for a while.
There you go.
Okay, so this is their results in the league since the turn of the year. So they played Bournemouth and they won that 3-2. They played you guys 0-0. They played Forest 0-0. They played United, lose 3-2. They play Leeds, they win 4-0, and they play Sunderland, they win 3-0. And then they've drawn the last two against Brentford and Wolves.
There you go. So it's been.
And they gave away leads in both of those games.
So it's been hot and cold, and honestly, they
gave away a lead against United as well. So they've given away leads in 3 of their last 5 games. They've given away leads.
Yeah. Which you can't do as it. You'll know this better than anyone. It's different when you're. Well, I'm not talking from personal experience, but from following football, you'll know this. It's harder to win games when you are on top than it is when you're chasing. City right now are chasing. There's less pressure on you when you're chasing. And it was like this when Liverpool... a couple of times Liverpool... Before we used to be good, right, when Klopp turned us into winners, when you used to bully me at the start of our high school days, you always used to say, every year you guys say the same thing. You say it's your year. And it never is. And then we started getting to the position where Arsenal are now, where we have a comfortable lead and then we blow it. And it was always harder when we were the ones on top of the league than the ones chasing. Arsenal, they've had it once a couple of seasons ago where they were top and they blew it. But they've been around second place for the rest of the time. But this year again, they're at the top and City are chasing them. Arsenal still are relying on own goals. They're still relying on what they were before. They haven't found anyone consistent who's able to carry them offensively.
Corners,
set pieces, and then in big games they play for draws. That's a loser's mentality. So it comes down to me. They've still got to go to the Etihad and play City, and for me, the league, the title is going to come down to that game. And I trust City more in that moment. So that's it, really.
I don't think the title is going to come down to there. I think City could lose that game and they will still win the league.
That could be possible too.
Because I just don't trust them. I do not trust anyone in that Arsenal team. Because ultimately, no matter how good your defensive setup is, you're going to concede goals. The floor of teams in the league now is far too high offensively for you to go through a season and you just win games 1-0, 2-1 all throughout the course of the season. This isn't 2005 with Mourinho and Chelsea conceding 15 goals in the league season. Arsenal are in a stage now where they're always going to concede goals at some point because their players are just a bit soft. And when you sit in and you press in and you invite pressure onto yourself, you are going to give up chances because that's what they do. Regardless of what position they end up in throughout the game, they end up deferring and allowing the opposition to take the initiative and to basically put pressure on themselves. And when that game state switches and they have to now chase, it's so different because Saka, physically, he looks not finished, but his hamstrings, he doesn't have the same pop he used to have even 3 years ago. Gabriel Jesus went from a very, very good player into a guy whose body's just made of Swiss cheese. Odegaard has no conviction in his game anymore. Martinelli looks like Bambi on ice every single time he plays. Eze hasn't been very good since he signed there. Gyökeres just looks like a fat thug half the time, struggling to execute basic actions. They're just not a very good football team when it comes to going forward, and the thing is, they don't have the personnel to be able to shift. If your best player throughout the season, if your three best players throughout this, because this is probably better, if your three best players throughout the season are a number 6 and your 2 centre backs, who would you attribute that to? Would you attribute that to a title-winning team or a mid-table team?
Historically, you need
not just
firepower going forward.
Exactly. And the best teams, they always have elite players going forward, right? United, even if we go back to the inception of the Premier League, United have always had 4 strikers.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you had Hughes and all the rest of the guys, but you go to the treble-winning team, United had, obviously, the 4 strikers, York, Cole, Solskjaer, Sheringham. Arsenal, they had Henry, who's just a freak of nature. And you also had Perez and Ljungberg in there, and I think Overmars was in there as well. Chelsea, you have Drogba and Robben and Good Johnson and Lampard's basically a forward as well. And then United with Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez. And then if you look at City's next batch of title winners with Aguero and Dzeko and all these other guys and Balotelli. And then United won more with Van Persie and Rooney. And then, who else was there? Chelsea, you go back to Hazard and Drogba and Oscar and all these different guys. Leicester won the league, for Christ's sake, because they had Mahrez and Vardy to go alongside N'Golo Kante in the middle. All these teams, they have elite guys going forward. You guys, you didn't have an out-and-out 30-goal-a-season striker. But you had Salah and Mane and Firmino, who could all give you 25 goals a season at some point. Firmino gave you 27. City always had 6 guys who could give you 15. Do Arsenal even have 2 players who you can reliably say can get you 15 goals in the season? The answer is no.
15.
And Arteta doesn't help that. Exactly. 15. We're talking about get us a goal once every 2-point-something games. We're not even asking for a goal every other game. And those guys can't even reliably hit that. And I just see that, and I'm just like, my God, you're such a negative place. And the other thing is, Arsenal are the most online team, if you will. And their fans act like it's 9/11 when they lose a game or when they drop any points. And it's just like, that feeds through to the players. Declan Rice is always online. And he's probably the face and the soul of that team. Saliba, he's online. Gabriel seems like the type of guy who'd be online a lot. Saka, not so much, but even so, right? Gyökeres is online because he's always making a big scene of like the ear and the hair gel, whatever. So yeah, that feeds through to the players. I don't trust them at all. I think City will win the league by 3 to 5 points, and it's just going to be another season of suffering for Arsenal. And a big part of it is because of their coach, because he's obsessed with the back 6. With the back 5 as opposed to getting more quality players going forward. If they didn't buy Eze and Madueke and they decided to take a risk on Rafa Leao, who maybe he has attitude questions, but the guy is a match winner and he has ridiculous talent because he's 6'3", runs out the wind, and he can strike a football on a semi-consistent basis. But instead, what do? Sign more midfielders.
Yep. No, I'm in agreement with all of that, and I think they're going to win the derby this afternoon. I do. Because Tottenham are dire.
I really hope they don't.
But they've got this new coach in now as well, and that's always unpredictable when you're playing a new manager. So
new manager, and Spurs need the points, and it's a derby.
Yeah. I mean, if they draw and City win their next game, then there's no difference. 0 point difference.
And that City still with a game in hand. Because right now, they play the same amount of games, but Arsenal are due to play in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they're in a load of trouble.
And I just don't believe it when both Rice and Arteta have been coming out this week saying, this is the position we want to be in. This is exactly where we want to be, and we invite the pressure. They can feel the pressure, and it's been evident through their results. You're in a, like you say, we're in a Premier League now where Wolves, they're down and out. They're definitely a championship side. But the way the Prem is constituted now, even those sides that are in the relegation zone, they're able to find a way to stay competitive in games if you don't kill them off. And this is what you're saying about the firepower. It's like, you need players who are going to kill the game. Like, if Liverpool were winning 2-0 or something last season, Salah would always come in and he'd kill the game off in the 60th or 70th minute. Players like that, who are, like you say, game winners, who are going to provide, who are not going to give Arsenal give teams a lifeline, because even those bottom sides, like Brentford have been good this season, but traditionally them and Wolves, they're a sit-back team. And they didn't have much to offer going forward. But as Arsenal, they get comfortable when they've got that 1-0, 2-0 lead. And like you say, the quality of the lower table sides now, they can come and win the game with their attacking players. And they've got more firepower than traditionally, I guess. And so Arsenal aren't built to hold on to leads against those teams, but they're also not built to go and beat big teams, because whenever they go to Anfield, whenever they go to the Etihad, whenever they go to Old Trafford, they play for a draw. And they don't play aggressively, and they think that they can dictate the game on their own terms, but we see the same thing every time. If you'd have actually had some balls and gone for it in some of those games, then you wouldn't have to worry now about choking it, because you'd be so far ahead gone Christmas time. But he insists on playing the game in such a broken way and just like you say, it's this whole NBA statistic, like, you got to space the floor and hit the free, and we've got to get some set pieces and corners, and we've got to micromanage everything. And no, just you've got to find game winners, match winners, especially attackers in the Premier League, who are going to put the game to bed so that you don't have to worry about blowing the lead against Forest or against Wolves or a team like that.
And the other big thing is that, like, before the United game, there was still a certain mystique about their defence, I'd say. Like, teams, if you go behind against Arsenal and go, oh, bloody hell. Like, really, we have to come from behind against these guys.
Yes.
They have 10 men behind the ball constantly.
They have zero aura when it comes to that, Arsenal.
Exactly. And 5 games ago, they did. Because teams weren't scoring on them. Liverpool weren't scoring on them. You know, who was the game after? They didn't win. Teams weren't scoring on them. They weren't Forest it was. They weren't winning because they didn't have the prerequisite offensive firepower to win those games. When United go in and they score 3 against you, and they really could have had about 5 or 6. And they came from behind against them. And even late in the game, you know, they were punctured. Brentford, they go behind against you and they come back and win. No, they come back and draw. Wolves, they're 2-0 down. There is no world in which Arsenal, with the way their defence is made up and the setup they have, they should be letting go of a 2-goal lead against anyone in the division. Forget the team that is bottom and has something like, and is on less than 15 points. There is absolutely no way that should be the case, but they did. So the aura is punctured now, and I disagree with you. I think they are built to withstand pressure, but unfortunately, if you don't have the bottle for it, then it just becomes a bit more of a problem. And when your coach is scared, that transmits to the players, and they play more scared, and they're more tight, they're more likely to make errors, which will end up leading to costly mistakes and end up dropping you points, which will cost you titles.
And they don't have that fear factor when you play against Arsenal. I don't feel the same as when I used to play Pep City, or like your team would play one of those big like Manchester United under Sir Alex. Teams like that, they had a certain aura, fear factor about them, like Liverpool under Klopp. And you were, you know, when you went to their home ground, you were like, okay, we're playing for a point. That isn't happening with Arsenal. I think teams can take it to them more. And because they don't provide anything going forward, they're relying so much on unforced errors of their opposition. You can't do that when you're trying to chase the title. And it doesn't fill me with confidence of them going to the Etihad either.
They play it like, I think I said this to you a few weeks ago. If it wasn't to you, I said it to someone else. They play football like American football. They'll go for it on 4th down inside the 5-yard line, but they'll run the ball from the 3. So you're forced to punt from your own 10, and now as a result they get the ball on your 45, and now they have to move the ball 6 yards for a field goal attempt. That's how they try and beat teams. They try and beat teams by pinning them in and forcing them to kick it long, and all of a sudden the pressure builds, and it sustains. But to a certain degree, you need to have that elite level quality to take it over the edge. And instead, they're playing for corners and putting 10 players on top of the goalkeeper. And it's like, okay, is it allowed? Sure. But it's
like the tush push, right? With the Eagles tush push, it's like, is that in the rule book? Yes, technically you can do that. Is that football? No.
No.
And it's the same thing.
Same thing with these guys. And I don't know, like, in the last 4 years, I've gone into a bit more airy-fairy football gods type of thing. Right? I believe in sports gods. A team like this cannot be allowed to win the league. I refuse to believe that they will allow a team like this to win the league. Because ultimately, say what you want about Mourinho's Chelsea and the way they played. They sat back and sat deep in the big games. They were blowing away smaller teams, 2-0, 3-1, whatever. Even in Mourinho's second stint, when they parked the bus against you guys and they made it 2-0, they were still beating up on smaller teams. They lost the league because ultimately they fell off towards the end of the season. As they literally didn't have a striker.
The thing that worries me, the rest of the league are trying to play like them.
Sorry?
The thing that worries me is the rest of the league are trying to play like them.
I think that there's been a little bit more of a shift away from that this season. But yeah, if they win the league, then
No, like long throw-ins, set pieces.
exactly. You would only see that from Stoke. You would see that from Stoke at the Britannia. You would not see that from United. You wouldn't see that from Liverpool. You wouldn't see it from Arsenal and the Wenger. You wouldn't see it from Chelsea. You wouldn't see it from any of the top-level institutional clubs. And you see it from these guys because ultimately Arteta, since he blew the lead against Southampton and he got belted by City, he just coaches scared now. And it's pretty pathetic, and he is what he is. But,
Well, actually, it's not the top clubs who are doing it this season. It's the lower table clubs, and that's why I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Arsenal playing with a midget mentality because they're playing like one of these.
Would never do this. They would do it at Stoke. The fact that Arsenal do it, if they win, other teams, it's a cascading effect. They will just continue to do it.
Yeah, like the top prestige clubs like United, City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. They're trying to play football. And that's why Slot keeps complaining about we have to play these teams who are playing long throw-ins and are playing a deep block. And it's like Arsenal are playing up there with the big boys, but they've got this midget mentality. That's what it seems like, and I'm not here for that, and I don't think that they should... It would be wrong, like you say, for them to win the league with that style of play. And it's not fun to watch. And I spoke to Arsenal fans this week, and these were non-deluded ones, because most of them online are deluded. But they said, well, if we don't win this season, I want Arteta gone, because we need to win something. If we don't win something, then it's just a poor watch. And I'm someone who's like, I would rather finish second and watch nice football than finish first playing a poor brand of football like that.
You wouldn't. Okay, winning makes everything acceptable. But at the same time...
It's not going to happen. They're not going to win.
I agree. But the thing is, they're in such a weird spot because Arteta is objectively a very good coach. Your floor with him is top 4. Your floor with him is 75 points. Like, you are almost guaranteed, if you give him what he wants, that you will get 75 to 80 points basically every season. Right? But the problem is that the objective at most clubs is to win. And his style will not necessarily allow you to win. Right? In 22-23, they were basically a Saliba injury away from winning the league in their first year of contention. He got scared and he went backwards from there. And unfortunately, it's bit him in the ass and it's going to continue to bite him in the ass until he fixes up. Would I sack him though? I think it'd be a bit extreme. But I would understand it, though, because the way they play is such an eyesore. Like, it is a disgusting watch.
I think that's the thing. Winning can excuse everything, like you say, but it's such a bad watch. I feel bad for the fans. I would hate to watch my club play like that. And I've hated watching Liverpool this season, but this is another level. So at least we've been able to watch some, like, silky football, like Ekitike and Wirtz. Like, at least that's nice on the eyes. Like, nothing about what Arsenal do is nice on the eyes.
Yeah, it's outrageous what they do.
And you have the personnel to play like that.
Yes, they have the personnel to play better football, which is the thing that really sticks with you. But it's weird. I honestly, I don't know what I'd do if I was Arsenal, if they don't win anything. But it's just strange. If they finish... Because obviously there's the cup final. If they lose the cup final, I think that's their season done. I don't see them being able... If they lose the cup final to City, which is... It's always in February, March time. Let me see when the date on that is. That's terrible.
What?
It's the 22nd of March. It's 2 days after I leave you.
Oh, the final.
If it was 1 week before...
Is there any football on when you're here?
Probably the Champions League. We're taking a detour for a second, everyone. We've not made any plans yet. I only booked this the other day.
We can go pub and watch Champions League if it's on. You'll have to look though. I don't know what round it would be.
Probably the last 16.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's such an interesting one that we'll have to see with Arsenal, but I just don't know. Wait. Round of 16. Yes, there is. So we'll have the second leg of the round of 16 when I'm
Cool.
with you.
We'll do that then.
Yeah. Yes, we'll go out both nights. And we will watch. We will hopefully watch some good games. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Arsenal. I don't know what's going to happen if they don't win the league. I actually finally think they're set up well to make a run in Europe. But at the same time, it's just like, can they win the league playing like that? I don't know. No, can they win the Champions League playing like that? Because they don't even have. Usually, the best Champions League winning teams have some level of quality going forward. They're sort of the absolute highest echelon. If we go 25, PSG, you have Dembele and you have Doué and you have Kvaratskhelia. 24, Madrid, you have Vinny and Benzema. No, not Benzema, Vinny and Bellingham. In 23, you have Haaland and Bruyne. 22, Benzema, Vinny. 21, Chelsea is probably the last one because they have Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. But before that, we go Bayern Munich with Lewandowski and Coman and Gnabry. Gnabry was in top 10 conversations that year. And in 2019, Liverpool have Mane and Salah and Firmino. And you have Trent, who's a maverick in himself. 18, and then that three-peat Madrid run, MSN, BBC, like all these teams, they have elite level forwards, and you know the odd time you will get a team who manages to do it without, but it's
there's also the mental side of it. If they're blowing the Premier League, say City have like a 5 or 6 point lead and Arsenal have completely blown it, that's not going to play well for them in the Champions League either because they're not going to be high on confidence.
Yep.
So
I said about 15 months ago, I still remember clearly, but I said Arteta's implosion will be Mourinho level. Like when it happens, if they don't win a league at some point soon, he will have a Mourinho level implosion where he just blames everyone. He blames the organisation, he blames the players. Like, did you see what his wife did the other day on Instagram?
No.
So his wife did a Q&A, and some absolute charlatan said, I view you and Arteta as my family. Make him win the league. Like, you know, do his best. And she's like, oh, Mikel's doing the best, but he can't do everything. It's like, instantly, what does that transmit? That you're partially blaming the players for your bad game model, which is suffocating them and making them worse than they really are. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. I really hope they bottle it up. I would be so happy.
I think we would. The thing is, when a team gets over the hump, then it's like, if Arsenal win this season, then that's going to give them confidence for like the next 5 years, because that's what's happened. What happens, right? When Liverpool won that first COVID title, it gives those players, Salah and Van Dijk, confidence even to win now with Slot, and it gives you that winner's mentality.
You've done it before now. You know you can do it, so you can repeat.
That's the thing. So I don't want Arsenal to get that, because then for the last however long, like decade, it's been Liverpool City. That's been the two dominant clubs.
Yes.
I'm okay with that. City have already won enough for me to be like, I don't care anymore. What I don't want is one of those other big clubs to break that hump, to get over that hump, and actually be able to challenge consistently as well.
Our entire waking lives, like since we watched football, when Arsenal were last seriously good, it was like 2000 and
when I was born.
You can argue 2008, but really it's 2004 when we were 1 and 2 years old. Right? Yeah. They have never been good since we've been alive and sentient. So Chelsea, they won however many leagues, and we've seen them win leagues. We've seen them win Champions League. We've seen City win leagues, and we've seen them win the Champions League. We've seen United win leagues. A Champions League when we were 4 years old or whatever, but you know we saw them win a Champions League. Like we were alive for it, and like we knew what was going on, sort of. Like we were watching cartoons or whatever, but you know football was a thing. Arsenal have never had that, and for them to finally get that wouldn't be very good. And their fans are just insufferable, and the players would get gassed to a degree which is unjustified. So yeah.
Do you know the thing that's sad as well? City, these other teams who are usually competitors with Arsenal, they're kind of rebuilding right now, retooling. City
United, Chelsea,
are, Liverpool, all of them are going through rebuilds, and Arsenal is the only team that has much squad depth. And
this is pretty much final form for them.
You talk about teams being ahead of schedule, they are way behind schedule, Arsenal.
Oh, they should absolutely have 2 titles by now.
That's what I mean.
I'm fairly certain they were the favourites going into last year's title race. I don't remember for sure, but they should have. But I'm pretty sure
They're
were.
going into it this year as Liverpool because of how much they'd spent in the summer.
No, this year. But even then, I checked yesterday. So Liverpool were plus 180 because I was having an argument with my cousins that I told you about in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about Liverpool and if their years of failure or not, and if it was planned or whatever. That's a different discussion for another day. But Arsenal's odds were plus 220. So if you bet $100, you get back 220. For Liverpool, if you bet $100, you get back 180. They're both functionally 2-1. That's not a big gap. Right, 1.8 to 1 compared to 2.2 to 1. That's not remotely big of a difference.
Yeah, Arsenal were meant to be up there with them, but Liverpool was a popular pick. But we've obviously seen that's been a disaster, and our squad depth is nowhere near what Arsenal's is right now.
Exactly, and Arsenal, I don't even know. Like, they've spent obscene amounts of money the last few years. I don't know what else they can. I don't know. Because they have to play Madueke, they have to play Eze, they have to play Gyökeres, they have to play all these guys because they spend so much money on them.
And City had to bring in Gay and Semenyo as an emergency because they had no centre-backs.
And this is interesting, actually, because I didn't say this to you, but I said it to my cousin last year, around this time last year, and it was City after so the year they beat you to the title, they then had a 2-year spell where they were below City levels. They lost the league by 20 points to you guys when you got 99 points. And then the year after they won, but that was by default. They had something like 86 points. United had 74. City won that league by default because they saw there was a window there. Because Virgil blew his knee in half. United weren't ready. Arsenal weren't ready. Chelsea weren't ready because they threw away the start of the year with Lampard. The same thing happened this year. City lost the league by a country mile last year. The full rebuild wasn't there. And they see in January, oh, there's a window here. We can get these guys. Let's get these players in and let's make it a real race and let's make it a 50-50 and let's see if we can take them over the edge. If they're going to win it, let's make them earn it as opposed to, oh, just give them it. Just lay over and die for them. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
That's the thing. I fully don't believe Pep Guardiola, 20 games into this season, thought City were going to challenge.
No, and now 7 games later, he's like, oh, we can have this one.
Oh, actually, we're going to get them. And they feel like that right now. So next season, all those big teams are going to be way better, and Arsenal, they're going to struggle. If they don't win this season, they're going to struggle.
And the thing is, Pep's chased down teams multiple times before. So 2019, you guys had like a 6 or 8 point lead at one point, chased you down, because they just kept winning. They won like 18 games in a row or something. It wasn't because you not even bottled it. You just didn't win 18 games in a row. And then 2 years after that, they chased down whoever was at the top at various points. You were top at one point. United were top at one point. So they chased down that season. 23, they chased down Arsenal. I'm sure they chased them down in 24 too. They've chased down teams at least 3 times before, and maybe a 4th. So, we'll see what happens. And my money's on City from here. I wonder who the favourites are. Let's have a look at this.
My money's City. Have a look what the current.
I'm not saying who we pick. I'm saying I wonder who the bookies think. Because the bookies, if they're wrong, they go out of business, right? So we'll make that the last thing on here because we've been going on for half an hour like this because we both have an equal resentment for Arsenal.
Usually we have to disagree with each other, but I feel like there's enough deluded Arsenal fans that this will get traction anyway. Arsenal
are still quite heavily favoured. They're 8-11 and City is still 7-5. That's not a huge gap, but that's still bigger than I thought it would be. United are third favourites, 80-1.
Gosh.
So yeah, we'll have to see.
Are you lot third?
No, but they're third favourite because of the run of form.
Oh. I was going to say, I swear you're...
We will have to
You're
see.
fifth, yeah.
You're fifth. Or 4th. Let's have a look. But anyway, we will... actually, no, I'll look at this and then, yes.
We're doing NBA stuff.
Yes, so the NBA is Owen's most probably watched sport. Yes, United are 5th. They have a game in hand tomorrow, so if they win that game in hand, if they just even draw tomorrow against
You've got Everton, haven't you?
It's away though, and Moyes is tough. But if they draw tomorrow, then they go above Chelsea. If Liverpool win, which they're still drawing, then they'll go to 45. And if United draw, they'll go to 46. So as long as they don't lose tomorrow, they'll be fourth. So yes, we'll have to see. So
I would before we go to NBA, I was heavily debating going and watching Liverpool this afternoon, but it's that cursed bar, and I didn't want to go. So I was like, I'm leaving that. Anyway, NBA stuff.
We're watching Liverpool at that bar when I come over, though. I want to see it.
If it's Champions League, we don't even need to go to the bar. I can pull it up on...
No, we're going. We are going.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Yes, we are. I will drag you. So, what was the next thing? Basketball. So, Owen is... So, it's funny. So, Owen and I were really good friends for the first 2 years that we were in school together anyway. But then Owen kept yapping to me from January 2016, which is like 15 months into our friendship, about Isaiah Thomas on the Boston Celtics. And he just liked him because he was really small. And at this point, Owen was way smaller than I was because I was an early grower. So I grew a lot more when I was like 10, 11 years old, proportionally compared to everyone else. So I was one of the tallest kids. And Owen was tiny. So
it's just like, look at this midget who's...
And he was like,
he was averaging like 29 points a game at that time. In
no, he was only on like 23-ish at that season.
No, but then the one after.
Yeah, exactly. So Owen told me how much he liked Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics, and I was like, whatever. And then I broke my collarbone, and then I stumbled on the NBA Finals, and I saw LeBron and Kyrie do a slam, do the alley oop, and I was like, oh yes, I like this guy. So that was what ended up. That's what ended up basically tying us.
Started your romance with LeBron James.
Yes. So Owen is a huge Celtics fan, but he also just loves basketball as a whole. So I'm going to shut up for a few minutes now. And Owen's going to give us a big overview of the league, of picks, of directions, awards, all that different type of stuff. Leave the title picks till last and riff however you want. Owen, go ahead. I'll interject at some points, but please talk.
Sounds good. It started with Isaiah Thomas and then it transitioned to Tatum as soon as he got traded and we drafted Tatum. And this season it's been Brown. So we just aren't going anywhere, the Celtics. But on that topic, because Brown's one of the top MVP candidates, I want to talk about my picks for MVP. I know you haven't really clocked in yet to the NBA, but I kind of...
Following scores. The NBA season for me doesn't properly start until after the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, it's All-Star break. That's when it starts heating up, isn't it?
Exactly. And the Lakers won their first game coming off it.
But let's say the top 5 picks for MVP this year, no order, Shea, Joker, obviously them two, Brown, Cade, and Wemby. Because right now...
Sorry, Joker's almost out, isn't he? Because he can only miss like 2.
Yeah, Joker's almost out because of the 65-game rule. But he's averaging a triple-double. So, like, if he had played a full season, it would be him. But the only thing against Joker as well is that his team has been sick without him. Like, while he's been injured. They've still been, like, the top offense in the league. Or top 3 offense in the league. So, Jamal Murray's had a blinder of a season. And they've got other pieces as well now. That they actually look very dangerous. Even without Jokic. So... I guess that could kind of take away from his case, but he's averaging a triple-double. And I don't think he'll get enough games to even qualify for MVP, but if he did, hands down, he's the best player. So I'd go for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we in agreement that he's comfortably the best player in the league?
Oh, comfortably.
He's so... I was late. I was really late to the Jokic train. For those of you who watched my TikToks, you remember that I didn't think that Jokic could win a title because he was just bad defensively. I didn't think a bad center could win a title defensively. But he's such a freak. He's so good. But
yeah, people might be angry at me as well because I've left Luka out because Luka's averaging like 32, 33 points a game. So I know why people would be annoyed about that. But again, he's missed a lot of time, and knowing him, he's probably going to miss more. But the reason why I've gone for Wemby, Cade and Brown, Wemby is the defensive side of it because it's like Jokic on the offensive end, right? Wemby is far and away the best defensive player in the whole game.
Oh, he's his space as the best defender in the league it's the biggest since we've been watching the league.
Yeah.
By a lot as well.
Comfortably. And what he can do on the offensive side of the ball as well is just ridiculous. Like, for me, I think he's a top 3 player already. And that's insane.
What's your top 3?
Jokic, Shea, and Wemby.
Okay.
I think Shea could be kicked out of it. But I think for now...
I think he's the weakest of those 3.
I think Jokic and Wemby are comfortably in there.
I think Jokic, Giannis, and Wemby are the 3 best.
So for my top 5, when everyone's healthy at the moment, I have Jokic, Wemby and Shea, take your pick, and then Giannis and Luka. Top 5.
Yeah, we have the same 5.
There you go.
That's a rarity. I don't think we've ever had the same 5 ever.
Yeah, but the team to watch out for this year, and I'm going to make them my finals pick. I've been heavily debating this. Actually.
You aren't going to.
Huh?
Go ahead. You're not.
Who did you think I was going to... Oh, you said to leave final picks till last, didn't you?
No. You go ahead. Because I'm curious now, but I really don't like where this is trending.
It's the Spurs. Is that
I was thought you were going for the East. Okay.
No. I'm going for the Spurs from the West.
I don't hate that, I'll be honest.
I was heavily debating it because they, as a roster, they have little to none playoff experience. Like, even their vets, like De'Aaron Fox or someone like that, like he hasn't had a long playoff run ever. Because he's been on the Kings. But the reason why I've gone for that is I think I messaged you about this a while back. With OKC, they're kind of built to beat OKC as a team.
Yes, I remember this.
This links back to the logic of when Minnesota beat Denver. They were built to beat Denver with the 2 bigs.
And
then last year with the Celtics and the Knicks. The Knicks were like a B-Tech version of the Celtics, but they were basically saying we're the tougher team and we're going to play better in the clutch.
And also, even going further back, the Rockets did the same to the Warriors. Because they just got a bunch of 3-and-D guys, 2 big guys to protect the rim, and then a bunch of guys just said, listen, you're going to have to beat us one-on-one. You're not moving the ball on us.
It's a copycat league, right? Like, this season, the Celtics, they're basically imitating a lot of what the Pacers did last year. Like, you've basically got a bunch of nobodies who Joe Mazzulla has got to play in this integrated offense.
You're just playing suicides every single play down the floor.
Yeah. Just playing like nutcases. But we see it all the time. And I think the Spurs have done a great job. Because at the start of the season, everyone was like, why have they got so many guards? Like, why have they got so many like 6'5", 6'6" guards? Like, what is going on? They have like 5 of them. They've got.
But they don't really have any small players, do they?
I think their smallest player is Fox, who's like 6'3".
Exactly. Like, they don't have anyone who's like 6'1".
But even he is. Like, obviously, he's going to get brought out by defenses, but he's not a liability on defense because he's so quick. But you've got him, you've got Dylan Harper, who they've just drafted this year, who's one of the best rookies. He plays like he's been in the league for 5 years already. They've got Stephon Castle, won Rookie of the Year last year, and he went for 40 the other week. He's playing out of his mind. And defensively, he's like... Have you watched much of him or not?
Bits.
He has like D-Wade, and this is probably a bit of a hyperbole, but D-Wade kind of defensive capability. Like, that's sort of his ceiling. Like, he needs to work on his shot, but he's a very good player. And then they've just got so many pieces. Keldon Johnson and Vassell and Barnes, guys.
I've always liked Keldon Johnson.
He's great.
Back when they had Popovich. This guy is one of the best role players in the league.
He's up for 6th man of the year, and
huge on the boards. Like, he would
huge on the boards, 3-and-D guy. And best role player you could ask for. And then you've got, who else have I missed? I feel like I'm missing someone big.
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, they've got Harrison Barnes still.
He's a good veteran presence. Some of his memories from the playoffs are bad, but he's won a title with the Warriors.
That's true. That's true.
So, he's been in the finals before. I mean, game 5 through 7 in the 16 finals were as bad as any player that I've ever seen play in the finals. But irrespective, right, he's been there. He has won a title as a role player. So, I think
their best. I forgot their best shooter, Champagny.
Yeah, he's a sniper.
Who is statistically their best shooter. And everyone on the team can shoot, including Wemby. They've got Luke Cornett, who's can fill in for the Wemby minutes when you don't need him. And we saw him last season in the playoffs when everyone was calling him a Hakeem Olajuwon in that one game.
Look, Cornett he's a good player.
He's legit coming off the bench.
Listen. This is like these white centers. Like they're good players. Like they tend to be able to pick up on things really good. Like because a lot of them they're just slugs. Like they can't really move that well. So I like. You're a bit higher offensively on Wemby than I am, but what they have in terms of a total roster build is a really, really good thing. And they've got some separation now from the 3 seed and below. I think they're like 3.5, 4.5 games ahead of Denver, and they're only 2.5 games behind the Thunder. If they can chase down the Thunder, that's huge.
And the Thunder as well have been regressing recently with Shea's injury.
Why is that? Well, because they were on course for like 73 wins at one point.
Yeah, because they started the year like 25-0 basically. I think they lost that one game. They were like 24-20. It was like 26-1 or something was their record. But now they're regressing. Jalen Williams isn't playing as well. Obviously, Shea has got injured. No. Shea has got injured recently, so that plays into it. But I think they're not as great as they were last season. Their second best player this year has been Alex Caruso. So I think they're gettable, and also I think their confidence has been knocked because the Spurs beat them 4 times out of 5.
And that's huge.
Yeah, those were competitive playoff games, and it was also the way that they beat them because they matched their defensive intensity, which no team had been able to do before, and also Wembanyama owned Chet. He just owned him. And he loathes. You can see how much he loathes him.
Chet's a softie. I'm not particularly high on him. Wemby is a killer. I think he's a bit overrated offensively, like I just said.
In what ways? Because for me, he doesn't have any holes offensively.
He doesn't have any holes, but he doesn't wow me. But a lot of the stuff that makes him go wow is that he's 7'5" and he can move. But I don't like the amount of... he's playing more in the post now and inside of the 18 feet range, which is where I really wanted him to be. He still is a bit too jump shot happy for my liking. But, he's... Even with that, he's legitimately a top... you can argue him over anyone in the league outside of Jokic. For me.
Yeah.
And that's just me picking nits when I call him a bit overrated offensively. So, he's different. He's a freak. And
I've never seen someone that big move like him.
And year 3 tends to be like a sneaky big thing in terms of how well players progress by this point. If a player's not top level by year 3, the chances of them being so tends to reduce a lot. So
I mean, to put it in perspective, he's averaging 24, 25 points a game, and he's played half the season on minutes restriction.
And the other thing is, so the last person to be a certified top 5 player in year 3 was LeBron. No one else was really there. Kevin Durant's probably the closest, but even then, so when was year 3 for him? So 2009-10 season. Kobe, Wade, LeBron, Dwight Howard. That's 4 guys who you could easily argue ahead of Kevin Durant at that point. No, Kobe, Wade, LeBron, Dwight Howard. Maybe you can argue Kevin Durant in there if you really wanted to. But because you still had Chris Paul, you still had a bunch of these other guys who were top level players. So I don't know. You even had Garnett had declined, but okay, irrespective. But either way, right, you have a bunch of guys at this point who are young, they're hungry, they're in a really good spot. And honestly, I think it'd be good for the league if Like, because ultimately the league has been sort of searching. If Wemby can somehow snatch MVP, is that at all possible? Has he played enough games?
He technically is still in the race, yeah.
So if the Spurs get the 1 seed and Wemby wins MVP, I think that would be huge. Because ultimately, if we look at things, so let's say that people thought LeBron's time was coming to an end in 2019, year 1 in LA, the first year Giannis won MVP. Giannis never really took that mantle because he was meant to be the next face of the league. LeBron shunned off Stephen Durant. Kawhi was never going to be that because he's mute. And who else? So there's Giannis. The league put a bunch of equity into Zion and Ben Simmons, and Zion's fat, and Ben Simmons likes to fish. So, those two are gone. You can tease me about Ben Simmons another time. You've already sent me enough abuse. And then, who else even was there? Anthony Edwards just isn't good enough. He's not.
He can be top 5.
Exactly, but top 5 isn't face of the league.
No. But he's averaging 29 this season.
Even so, right? I just watch him and he's so much worse than Jokic.
Oh, yeah.
He's so much worse than Jokic. He's so much worse than Giannis and Wemby. And he's so much worse than Shea, and he's significantly worse than Luka. And that's Luka, who's fat and can't defend. I don't... if you really want to push me, you can make an argument for Ant over Luka, but just when you watch the game, the two of them are just... They're not the same. And if we look through all the faces of the league... I know I said to let you talk here, but I'm sorry. You have... So, let's pretend that there's not one yet as of now. You have LeBron, maybe the greatest ever. Before that, it's Kobe, who was a certified top 10 player ever. He was a top 3 player for 12 years, basically. Before that, Jordan. Before that, Magic and Bird. Jordan might be the GOAT. Magic is the best point guard ever, outside of maybe Steph. Those two, they're in the same room, right? Larry Bird was the best small forward ever until LeBron James came along. And before that, you had Kareem. And before that, it was Wilt and Russell. These are all guys who are arguably top 12 players ever. And Edwards is not going to be a top 25 or 30 player ever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The Luka thing is hard because there's a lot of players who... Because if we're going offensive players, I think he's top 3, top 4.
I think
we have to...
I think offensively he's probably second. I think he's better offensively than Shea.
After Jokic.
I think it's only Jokic. No,
yeah,
Jokic.
Exactly. But when you talk about who's the better player,
it's so bad.
These other top players up there are just clear of him defensively.
Yeah, they can. Shea's the worst defensively, and he puts in effort. Luka's so fat he can't even try.
Yeah, exactly. But back to what we were saying, that actually transitions well into what I was going to talk about. I'll go into Caden Brown a bit later at the end.
Who was it? You didn't even give one.
I said Jokic if he gets enough games, but I doubt he will. They're going to give it to Shea, but I'm partially I think they're going to give it to Shea. But, okay, I'll just get Caden Brown done with now. The Pistons currently have the best record in the league.
Yeah.
And Cade is averaging 29 and 9, I think. Is it 29?
I know that Jaylen Brown's something like 30.
Jaylen Brown as well is averaging 29 points. And he's playing with the Celtics, who everyone thought was going to be a lottery pick.
I didn't, but yeah, most people did.
I think a lot of that goes into Mazzulla's coaching as well.
Oh, he's top. He is a psychopath, but he is top.
I think we can both agree he should be coach of the year. But Brown hasn't got a lot of pieces around him, and we are basically the same team as we were last year with all them, man, with Tatum, Horford,
and you lost Horford.
Porzingis.
You lost Horford. Porzingis is gone, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, we've lost everyone. Apart from the only people remaining from our title squad are Pritchard, Hauser, and Derek White.
Derek White's a great player.
Derek White's great, but
he's an all-NBA role player.
Exactly. And he hasn't been playing with a centre. We didn't. Well, now that we've got Vucevic in, So this was the other part of it. I think Tatum's coming back. There's been a lot of noise around him coming back on 1st of March.
Yeah, I think that is the most brain-dead thing possible. You are asking him to tear his Achilles again.
Yeah.
Like, just give him the year off. Right? You weren't meant to be here.
The thing that convinces me about it is they've updated him to the main team now, their G League team, and also they bought in Vucevic. If they weren't going to make a push this year, Vucevic is an old man, NBA-wise. If they weren't going to make a push yet, I don't think they'd bring him in, because we needed a big if we were going to compete.
I just think it's very short-sighted. Because if Tatum tears his Achilles again, which obviously no one's rooting for, right? I'm not Tatum's biggest fan, but, you know, I just think that's because he's a bit of a softie. But he's clearly a fantastic player. And it's just like, you don't want him to pop his Achilles again. He is someone who you could really argue as a top 5 player when he was healthy last year. Like, if we take those 5 players that we've mentioned as the 5, Tatum is ahead of everyone else. It's Tatum and Edwards and maybe Cade, and that's it, I think.
Yeah.
As the guys next in line walking into that.
Yeah. And Brown now as well.
Yeah, forget LeBron, forget Durant, forget Steph, forget Kawhi, forget all those older guys for now, because they're in a weird space, right? Kawhi's the only one really trying in the regular season.
This has been one of his best seasons since the Raptors days.
This is his best regular season since the COVID year. Yeah. Every year since, he's just been sort of like, oh, whatever. Like, I'll score 23 and I'll just play well in the playoffs.
It's like the 65 game rule has only worked for Kawhi.
Like, it's
so weird.
It's stupid, isn't it? Like,
I don't know why they didn't just do that for certain players they knew were load managing, rather than making it a whole league-wide thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition, actually, right? Talk about the direction of the league as a whole. Tanking, the 65-game limit, players sitting out games, the three-point boom, whatever.
Yeah, this is what I was going to get on to. Before the All-Star game, I think the All-Star game was quite a pivotal moment. I don't know if you watched it. But everything was going off before the All-Star game, where on every podcast, the media were talking about how can we fix the NBA, basically. Because they were like, it's ugly to watch. It's just a three-point fest. And teams are tanking to get high lottery picks because this is going to be one of the best drafts in the last recent years. There's so many good players that teams want. So they're just sitting, like Utah were blatantly sitting Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson in the fourth quarter so that they lost games. So you had all that popping off, and everyone was also like searching for a face of the league, like you say, which they've been doing for years, and they haven't been able to find a replacement for LeBron.
Yeah, Giannis didn't kick on, and Giannis, Zion, and Ben Simmons were 3 failures.
Giannis just because he refused to move franchise.
And even then, Giannis just didn't win enough. Like, I think if they go back-to-back, he's the face of the league.
Yeah. But then the All-Star game happens, and the format works great. First possession, Wemby does a deep seal and dunks on someone's head. And then that set the tone, and then all the other 3 teams were like, okay, we need to play now. And Anthony Edwards takes the challenge, and he goes head-to-head with Wemby, and then their team ends up winning it all. But I feel like Wemby is so good for the league because we've had all these superstars coming through, like Jokic, like Luka.
He's got a bit of a screw loose.
He's a bit of a sports psycho, which is good. So you had Jokic and Luka came in who like put in zero effort to anything culturally for the NBA, for the media, or for the branding. Like, they don't care about the All-Star. They play 5 minutes this All-Star game. Jokic does not care about that sort of thing. He cares about competitive playoff basketball, but not about accolades, not about All-Star games, not about that sort of thing. Wembanyama, like you say, he's got a screw loose. Like, he hates Chet Holmgren because he came out of the same draft and has won a championship on OKC.
No, he didn't even come out the same draft as him. He was a year before.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm sure he was a year before.
I swear he was second pick that same draft. Yeah. But he hates him, and it's very evident when you watch the game.
I think he was a rookie the same year.
Oh,
Yes, he was 2022.
right, okay. But he was celebrating when he missed free throws. That's how much he hates it.
It's because he was the original 7 foot something freakazoid.
Yeah. And so he creates these rivalries in his head. And then again with the All-Star game, no one is taking it seriously. We had all the players before it saying, Anthony Edwards is like, it just is what it is at this point. They're all just accepting the fact that it's going to suck. And then he comes out and makes a big play on the first possession. And everyone's like, oh, right, we've got to match that. And then it was the best All-Star game we've seen in like the last decade.
I think this is where, like, obviously, LeBron's my favorite athlete by a ton. Him not caring, unfortunately, transmitted to other people. But the problem is that for LeBron's first, basically 13, 14 years in the league, he did care in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like, even his last year in Cleveland, he went all out in the All-Star game. Even the year Kobe died, he cared in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
He's so old, he's bypassed that. But unfortunately, these young guns, they thought, oh, we can do the same. You know, LeBron's doing it, and it's like, no.
No, LeBron has so much to his name and story that you don't. You have to actually care.
He's got the most All-Star MVPs ever, I think. It's either him or Kobe. So it's like, behave yourself. But, like, him being so good for so long sort of hurt that specific part of the league. So, like, it's just...
So, another example, so you had the All-Star game, but then also last night after the game, Wemby's being interviewed because he did this double pump dunk. And he said, yeah, I'm going to compete in the dunk contest. Now, the dunk contest has been a failure for the last however many years.
Decade. Since
Yes.
Aaron Gordon and Zach
Since Gordon and Levine's dunk contest, it's been horrendous to watch. And that's another thing LeBron didn't do, which is probably bad for the league. But LeBron could get away with that because of how good he was, how talented he was. And his storyline, like you had him, Cleveland, coming home and all of that, like that entertains people and captivates people. You had the Warriors and they were like the perfect villains. And the league was just, the media especially was searching for something like that. And I think Wemby can be that. And the media hates it because he's French. They absolutely hate that.
He's not even Eastern European. Like, he's French.
Yeah, he's French.
And there's a certain view of French people, like they're just a bit soft and dainty and like just, eh.
If
Like,
Wemby was American, if Wemby was American, they would be all over him. Like, they're trying to crown, like, Anthony Edwards won the All-Star Game MVP. Played very well. They're trying to crown him because he's a likable personality. He's got that bit.
He's a jackass.
No, but he's got the charisma. That's what I mean.
He's a jackass. I don't like him. He's
Well,
funny.
obviously not, but he's funny and he's got charisma. And
He's
so
like
they're
a
like,
6-year-old's version of a role model, just running around impregnating a bunch of random women.
no, I agree. I'm not saying he's a good role model. I'm just saying this is why the media loves him. Because of charisma or whatever.
But he's also just not good enough.
Yeah, I agree. People are trying to say he's like Jordan. I'm like, he's nowhere near Jordan's talent.
It's like,
Watching Jordan is a spiritual experience. Watching Anthony Edwards is like, okay, I can get that from like 5 other guys in the league.
He's a top 10 player. Top 10 players have never been faces of the league.
I've got him 7th or 8th. Yeah. He's taken a massive jump this year, but...
If you really want to argue him top 5, you can. But it's 5th.
Yeah.
No higher. And even then, a lot of that is because Luka's a fatso, and yeah, that's about it. It's just because Luka's a fatso. If Luka could move defensively, then this wouldn't be a conversation.
So then you've got Cade who's coming up now. He scored 40 at the Garden the other night. And at Madison Square Garden. And now they're trying to crown Cade because he has been unreal this season. Like
he's not unique enough either.
Well, he's a great passer. The only hole in his game is shooting, really. But he kind of reminds me of Luka offensively.
Yeah, and
Cade.
he's just a worse version, and he's a bit ugly, and he looks a bit like a
But
vampire.
he's a far better defender than Luca, which I think his ceiling
All right.
offensively his
So was
ceiling isn't as high.
Rondo. Okay, Rondo was a good defender, but that's not the point. You get what I'm saying? Like I could name 100 better defenders than Luca, 400 defender better than Luca.
I think Cade can be a better overall player than Luca eventually.
I don't think so. I think that's a different discussion though. But either way, right? Cade and Ant, they're just not face of the league types. They're just not good enough.
And I think they could. You see what happens with Shea. Shea's like 28, right? He was playing as a role player when he was on the Clippers at the start of his career.
Yeah, but Shea's also winning 68 games a year. And he's not face of the league. No one views him as no one
No,
even views him.
the Pistons are the top seed. The Pistons have won more games than OKC this year.
Yeah, but they're not going to win 68 games. Cade's not going to win an MVP, even if he should be in contention. Like
I would say he will win an MVP in his career.
no, not this year.
What I'm saying, I could see Cade and Edwards getting into a top 3 conversation, winning MVPs. I can see that in the future, but not now.
Okay, Wemby's stone on
Yeah.
as a top 3 player. I think Jokic will be good for however long he decides to play.
I think the Lakers are going to waste Luka's career. That's my main hypothesis behind this.
I disagree because they've got the new ownership in Mark Walters, and whichever baseball team he runs, I think it's the Dodgers. They're the best run team. I think they're the best run team in the MLB. The Lakers right now are really cheap. Like they don't spend any money on scouting, data, analytics. They're still run like a mum and pop store. And so I think that'll change. So I think Luka will have the chance to properly contend. Will he get back to the finals? I don't know. It's crazy because Luka, after year 3, after that 7-game series against the Clippers, he was perfectly positioned to be the face of the league.
Yes.
And he just, 22, he got to the conference final, he got stomped on. 23, they stunk. That finals did so much damage to him when you guys won. Because people finally saw that, he foul baits a lot and he's a bit of a petulant brat.
His defensive liability.
And that's the main thing. Like,
They were hunting him.
Like, he's so bad defensively.
But these other players like Ant and Cade, I can see them having a higher ceiling than him because you can't hunt them defensively.
No, Ant's too basic. Like, he's not someone that I can just give the keys to. He's an absolute bucket getter.
Oh yeah, you can't give really the keys to the offense to Ant. But
Exactly. He's
you
just
can
a really.
trade.
He'll just be a top tier 2-way player.
But like Cade's leading the league in assists this year, so you can give him the keys to the offense. Like he's a point guard who can see over the defense and he's a creative passer. And the only thing he needs to work on is
like the taller point guards. So I wouldn't be mad if he became a really good player. But he's been in the league for a while now, so it took him a while to make his jump.
Wemby is the clear face of the league going forward, and the league hates it because he's not American. Is basically what we're saying.
Oh wow! Grow up.
He's the best to watch.
Teach American schools how to play basketball properly instead of just making them run high spread pick and roll. You're not winning that way unless you have an absolute anomaly.
Just enjoy the player that is the best to watch, and Wemby is the best player to watch.
I prefer Jokic, but
yeah, but if you're talking about getting viewership up from casuals,
yes, Wemby's more fun because he'll swallow shots and he'll do a pull-up 3 and he'll jam it in your face. Jokic is floor bound. I don't know how he gets so many rebounds. It's crazy. The guy doesn't jump.
No. Should we do title picks?
Yes, we'll do title picks. What are you thinking?
So I've said I've got the Spurs coming out of the West, which is crazy by my logic. I don't pick young teams to get that far usually, but I just think this team's special and it's built to win this year, even though they're ahead of schedule. And then out of the East, I think it's either between the Pistons or the Celtics. The Knicks aren't.
I knew you were going to say Boston.
Well, if Tatum comes back and he's 80% and he stays fit, then we're going to the finals.
He's going to tear his Achilles.
I don't have an opinion on it. I'm just like, whatever. Do whatever is your career.
It's been 10 months.
I really hope he doesn't tear his Achilles again. So, but I'm not weighing in on the decision. I'm just saying if he comes back and he's 80% of what he was with this team, we're going to the finals. If not, Pistons.
Okay.
And then I have the Spurs. I have the Spurs winning.
That'd be huge because LeBron didn't win his till year 9. Yeah, year 9. Jordan didn't win his till year 7. So if he's going to go on that trajectory where people think he can be a real GOAT contender, then
I think for that pick to happen, I think it's huge that the Spurs chase down OKC because the 1 seed's path through the West is much, much easier because you don't have to go through Denver. But also, a Spurs-Denver series would feed families, like Jokic against Wemby.
That would be insane. That would be the highest level of basketball that we've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap there. We're about 70 minutes now.
Do you not have one?
Oh, you want me to give one?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I'm biased. I like Jokic a lot, and I think the Nuggets.
Denver are good this year, even without him.
But my pick isn't fully info. So right now, I'll say Denver. I'll say Denver get out of the West, and I like the Knicks. I don't know why.
The Knicks. Have you seen what's been happening lately?
It's just carnage, isn't it? But I feel like they will never win in a smooth way. I don't think they will. I think Detroit is probably the smart pick. They're the 1 seed. They've got a bunch of wins. They were good. They were really good last year. They also hate the Knicks.
They hate the Knicks, and
they despise them.
They've swept them this regular season, 3-0.
Stomped them every time as well.
By a point differential of 84 between the 3 games.
Exactly. They beat them by 27 each game. 27, 28. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we'll
the
go.
Knicks are not getting out of the East.
Piston. We'll see. I mean, I don't want them to. By the way, I like the story. I don't want them to because at the same time I want Giannis to go to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because that story would be insane. If Giannis leaves Milwaukee, which part of me thinks he won't,
he better not go to the Knicks after all this talking he's done after the deadline.
He better not leave. Forget
he
the
better
Knicks.
not. He has to stay there for the rest of his career after all he's said.
Exactly. But I think we'll go Denver, Detroit. My God, Adam Silver would have an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wrap there. So I think that's it. I think this was a fun episode. I mean, the first half hour we talked about football, so you've got your football fix in there, everyone, and then we start talking about basketball. So Champions League knockout stuff will be confirmed because the playoff round is this week. Obviously, more basketball's on the way. The NFL free agency period will start soon. I don't think it's this weekend. I think it'll be the week after. But either way, we'll still be here more. And then obviously at some point you have an episode of me and Owen doing one together in person as opposed to little boxes. So yes, we will see you both soon, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.